which is the first world countries, is something that I think is a very, very good point that needs to be discussed and looked at, and how we can then, because most of the times anyway, it's because we are moving away because of the extreme heat that impacts on a lot of things, a lot of like food shortages, scramble for better human settlements. That's why people move from countries like from Africa basically to the first world countries. So we need to look at that. The fourth industrial revolution, when you're talking about AI as well, I like that, but sometimes I think that we forget when we speak, when we are in platforms like these, we tend to speak to people that would understand. We tend to speak what people will call high level. I'm the person who likes to go to the grassroots. So when you're talking about the use of AI, for example, and the people that we want to focus on, or if I'm wrong, can I be corrected?
Robin,
Yes.
just can you bear with me because there are electricity cuts in Argentina today, and I need to, I'm being called to reload the record button. Just wait a second. Wait a
Okay.
second. Wait a second. Wait a second.
Recording in progress.
Okay, now go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. So what I was saying was that when we speak, can we be aware as well that we want to reach the people, the poorest of the people? That is what we want to get. Yes, we get the people that can be our runners that will go in and teach people about global warming, about extreme heat and all that. But how do we teach them? You were talking about AI, and all my colleagues touched down on it, the good of AI and the bad of AI as well. But when we go back and we look at it, are we saying that how many people actually have access? Because for me, that's a key thing, access. How many people do have that? I'm based in the UK, as most people know, and a lot of people that I work with are the people that doc we want to focus on as well. These are the elderly that we are talking about, and children. And how many of them, from my own experience, have access to these tools that they should be taught about, or that we can use so that we can disseminate information to them? So in those ways, I think sometimes when we have platforms like these and we focus on getting down to the grassroots, we come up with better ideas, with better programs that we can put down, and they are tangible, and we can actually be able now to say, this is what we do. Otherwise, we can just speak, and not action. But if we go down and say, guys, if these people can be our right holders, I guess we call them that, right? How are we reaching them using AI? How do we trickle it down so that the information that we want to talk about, that we want to disseminate, that we want them to know so that they are protected from extreme heat, can reach them? I think for me, if we can go down on that, I would really love it. And I think that it will be something that we can go out of meetings and say, this is what we have done, and these are the way forward that we can take, and we can see that it is tangible. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, dear Robin. I'm sure that your work will open a discussion between us in short time. Meg Sibanda asks for the floor. Meg, go ahead, please.
Okay, Doctor, thank you so much. Yes, while I'm also on the same topic, yes, I'm not really disputing about the advantages or the added value of AI. But when I speak about the AI vis-a-vis migration, I think there is an issue, for example, of migration management using AI. I think we need to also see how this can help, especially the governments, so that they can also, even some organizations, so that they can also try to manage the migration flows. Unfortunately, yes, as much as we understand the USA and now coming on board Europe, they are trying to cut on the immigration or migrants coming to their territories. When we look at what is happening, to me, it's not a fair game because, for example, Dr. Carlos, we have a saying here in Africa to say when we go to Europe or we go to the West, we are told we are immigrants. But for them, when they come to Africa, they are tourists. So you already see that there is an issue there which needs to be looked into. Unfortunately, this is not a political space. We are looking at extreme heat, but that's the reality anyway. So when it comes to AI as well, vis-a-vis extreme heat, there are opportunities and challenges. For example, we need to know about the efficient or efficiency of AI and also the risks which are associated. Therefore, we also need to have future directions on how we use AI. And I always think that before a government actually introduces such instruments which are AI compliant, there should be international cooperation. For example, if the USA is using artificial intelligence or has got a component that they want to use artificial intelligence against maybe immigrants, I think there should be a bilateral arrangement so that there is issue of protection for the rights holders, like how Madam Robin put it. But Dr. Carlos, I think there is another thing that we should know, especially with Africa. Africa is always a hot continent over the years, from history to date. Sometime when one wants to address the issue of extreme heat, it becomes artificial because people say we are already experiencing extreme heat, but we have got other immediate. For example, I don't want to quote the country. During our month of action activities, I remember, to me, from one of the country where we did the action, the priority was all about hunger. People are hungry, get me right. So if, for example, one wants to address the issue of extreme heat, one talks about initiatives that brings issues of cooling, already that person is hungry. So how do you also address the same person to understand and also prioritize the issue of extreme heat? Yes, I'm not disputing extreme heat is there, but looking at what, if we take stock at the needs, which are a priority, especially to the global south, is a questionable, state of affairs. So that's my submission, Dr. Carlos. Thank you so much, everyone, especially our Director for Africa, as well our Madam Chair Lady Robin. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Meg. I don't know if there is any other contribution to the points being put on the table, that while extreme heat doesn't come into the forefront of people thinking and acting, we will not be able to really pursue our objectives. There are many conflicting issues that people don't understand, and just we are opening initially the problem. And that's why I wanted you to start discussing this question. To me, that very important and relevant for looking forward that different future that we all that are in the room now want to have. Reverend Godfrey, the floor is yours. Go ahead, please. We hear you.
Yeah, my issue is just to request you that we welcome the new members who have just joined for their first time on this meeting, like Olivia from Ghana. She has just joined us. Leonard from Burundi, also Gertrude from Liberia, Sheila, and also Chasimire, Maxensia. They are all our new cadres representing their countries. I would like to appreciate their coming. Please, in case you have any deliberation, would you kindly present? You have an opportunity to speak. I would also like to appreciate Robina for your presentation. Thank you so much. We are here in Africa, and we are working with our brother, Dr. Carlos, to make sure that this program is implemented in Africa and also in other countries where extreme heat and other related problems have been incurred. So thank you, Robina. May you continue to support this program, because many people are unserious about it. Many organizations are unserious. Many governments are silent. And we have some cases in hospitals, in the communities, the effects of extreme heat is beyond. And that's why I would like to ask Olivia. Olivia, what is the situation in Ghana? Please, would you kindly share a little about the situation in Ghana, or you are not listening? If you're listening, please say something about that.
Okay, many thanks, Reverend Godfrey. Of course, Olivia should speak up there if she's in, and also now the floor has been requested by June Bartium. June, the floor is yours, please. She's from the indigenous communities. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm June Bartium from Kenya. I have one representative from ocean parts of the country, from Mombasa. She's Khadija. I would like to say that in the spirit of leaving no one behind, I work with indigenous peoples. And these are the people that have been affected, extremely affected by the global heat wave. And the use of AI for us is something strange. And because the community itself doesn't understand how to use these things. And for the few of us who have known to use the AI, we see it's not, it has replaced our knowledge. Because of the research we are doing, copy-pasting things from the AI to what we used to know, it is not embracing at all. And the community I'm from is that we don't have the network. And accessing the phone even is very expensive, and the network is very poor. So for us, the education that we have is still, we are still behind. We are still behind, and we need a lot of education so that we address the issues that is affecting us within the community. And I would like to thank you. We work together with this journey so that we can fight for these vulnerable groups that I work with, the indigenous people, the women with disabilities, and the young people in the community who doesn't understand what the climate change is, and it is really affecting them. I would also want to add about the use of traditional knowledge that we are well equipped with. The use of the traditional knowledge, we protect and we love it dearly. I would like this team to embrace the use of traditional knowledge, and also we preserve it because it is working. It helps us to predict the climate effects ahead of us, and so many things are happening within the community. Yeah, thank you so much.
Excellent. You know, I really like what you say, June. You come from the community, but are you working in research, in academic research? You work in any academic environment?
No. I work with Endorois indigenous community. I'm from the community. I'm not doing any research here we don't have jobs. What we do, we just do education, just pure education, so that we can elevate our people to understand about the climate justice and what they are undergoing through.
Okay, I would very much like if you have sent us your email, because we need to be in touch with you. The comment that you made about digital revolution is very important, so we need to look at that, because I understand in Latin America also, the new knowledge brought by these machines is replacing the, original knowledge, our ancestral knowledge, and that is really causing a lot of damage. But we come back to you very soon. Just before giving the floor to Olivia, that was called on by our brother Godfrey, I just want to point out two things that to me are very important that we discussed yesterday also. Number one, the question of migration, because I think this is very important. There never has been in the world, on my knowledge, and even in the knowledge of the UN system, a practical collective commitment from the North rich countries, to have migration policies to filter the people that comes into their territories. And I want you to remember that our world in the last 2 centuries have been suffering of this situation that really have strengthened the role of northern powerful countries and the global south weak countries. That we started with colonization in the 16th century, Europe coming abroad, colonizing every part of the world. Then the Industrial Revolution. Climate change started certainly not with the Industrial Revolution. It started with the colonization of the world, 16th century. Then the Industrial Revolution decided to change, the ancestral knowledge of human using a new type of energy, that is fossil fuel industry. Although the science of the time decided and exposed that the use that technology would be very dangerous. But anyway, the capitalist interest decided to go ahead with use of that type of technology. And there we are now. Now there's a new push of, this type of society that is through artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence that really is occupying part of our thinking. Almost, I would say, in many cases, many of our life, 80% of our thinking. So we believe about the future, we think about the future, but we don't go back to know which is the capital of knowledge that we have. So these two things, a northern rich country, the part of the world, the northern hemisphere, protecting itself, building up walls in order to people not coming into their territories. And I might remember you that since the 16th century, people from the south always was used in order for the interests of the north through slavery or through exploitation to help this development. And what is happening is that today, people from the global south cannot enter to the rich countries of the north. And meanwhile, the rich countries of the north do have programs on extreme heat. As I told you, there are countries such as the United States that give high temperature, extreme heat, such an importance level that they have a minister or secretary of state for heat. Please understand this. The government of the United States do have a secretary for heat. So they have a minister of heat. While in other countries, we are struggling to understand why our people in Argentina, in Zimbabwe, in Kenya, in Uganda, what is about extreme heat? What a problem we have. But the United States do have a minister of heat. In Europe, the budget for controlling extreme heat impacts is very large. I think it's the second budget in the health field. While in other countries, our Minister of Health, our doctors don't know anything about heat. So what is the consequence? What is the reason of this? It's a large number of people are dying in the global south, but the statistics are not covering that death. In Argentina, the number of people killed by extreme heat is 0. While in Madrid, a heat wave of 3 days will kill 1,500 people, only in 3 days. So, is any reason for us to think that we people in the global south are stronger than the people of the weak white north people? No, we are as humans as them, but we are dying much rapidly than them, and no one is covering that death. And I challenge the doctors from Africa that are here with us, if in their countries there is any statistic for extreme heat killing. There's only research and maybe some people, curious sociologists or doctor look the number of people who had died above the usual level of death in the city where he lives or in the country where he lives. These, type of studies are ecological studies, are not saying much about it. So if I think that we have a concept of people, who runs away, who is running away from poverty, or who is running away from wars, and you African people know very well what is to run from wars. If I could be living in Africa and there's a war in my city, in my life, that is killing my mother, my son, my brothers, I would run away. I don't want my people being killed by war, a war that has nothing to do with me. So where I will go? I go to Europe. But if they put, walls, I will not be able to enter into Europe. So the same is happening with extreme heat. In Africa, there are a large number of migration due to extreme heat. There are heat migrants, but there are heat migrants in Asia. There are heat migrants also in Latin America. My brothers from Africa, please do understand this. So if we have migration due to extreme heat, and we want to migrate to the countries that have programs on extreme heat, such as the United States, Canada, or Europe, and we are not allowed to enter, what that means? That we are condemned to die, that we are condemned not to have an opportunity to live. And we are on earth in the day of our mothers, I can tell you, is to live, to be part of our environment. So migration is a problem today, a severe problem. It's not the problem that only that we people in the global south don't think about extreme heat, as Mrs. Mahler has told us. That is not a very important issue for you people in the global south. Extreme heat is not a problem. We have time to encounter solution. That is the thinking of the north. There is time. Meanwhile, people in the global south are dying. It doesn't matter. There are people from the south, the global south. It doesn't matter if they die. They will not be able to come to Europe or to North America because we have not enough money to protect also them from extreme heat. Because today extreme heat is a global problem, my dear friend. It's like a nuclear bomb. It's like radiation. It's affecting all of us, but it's affecting to all of us who are vulnerable, to our grandmothers, to our grandfathers, to our unborn babies, to the workers that are on the exterior exposing themselves to very high temperatures. So please, I want you to understand this, while this is happening in the world, while poverty, war, and extreme heat is causing enormous casualties in the global south, we are adopting artificial intelligence. And I ask you, and no one respond me this. When I take a bus in Argentina, if a bus is have 50 people sit in the seats of the bus. Before 20 years ago, we were talking between us with a fellow passenger. We talk about the politics, we talk about football, we talk about, but no one is talking to anyone. All are submerged in their cell phones. They are trapped by the cell phone. I don't know if that's the same happening in Asia. So I insist in this. Issue number one is extreme heat is not in the minds of our fellow citizens, of our brothers of the global south. Number two, the problem of digital technology is very serious. And number three, the issue of migration is telling me that really we need to prepare to a future that is not good. I give the floor to Mr. Now I can read very well from Leona Savimana. Leona, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Saviman Leonard, or Leonard Saviman. I'm coming from Burundi, as Mr. Reverend Geoffrey said. I'm coming to to hear what our Dr. Carlos said about extreme heat. It is a problem, for example, in our country, because we have many refugees, big migration due to the extreme heat. It means when there is an extreme heat, after it rains, and there is floods and other problems in the different area when it rains. In that case, many people, many vulnerable people are suffering from that consequence about the rain.
Hello. Nancy Vimana, please, I can't hear you any longer. Okay, we give the floor to Mr. Manso. Mohamed, please go ahead, take the floor, Manso. Welcome.
Yeah. Good afternoon, each and everyone. Good afternoon, Doctor.
Welcome, Manso. Welcome.
Mara, district. District focal point for livestock and veterinary services division.
Hello, Manso. We can hear you very well. And I ask Mr. Mexibanda, dear brother Mek, can you close the microphone because there's an echo and we cannot hear well brother Manso to speak. Go ahead, Manso. We hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon, each and everyone, my colleagues and Dr. Carlos. I am Manso Mohamed Mara, Kwanadugu district to be precise, from Sierra Leone. I'm here to talk about extreme heat that is affecting us in this country, particularly Kwanadugu to be precise, and Salaba district. So we are affected by extreme heat because, as I'm talking presently, most of we the humans are affected because the mosquitoes, when the place is so hot, we did not have chance to sleep under bed nets. And even the child, the younger kids, the lactating mother are affected, the animal are affected. So extreme heat is affecting us seriously. Sierra Leone, Kwanadugu, Falaba to be precise, as I'm talking, where I stay. So we are affected seriously. Animals are dying, bats are dying, humans are dying also because even the animal, the humans, we are affected through the animals because we sustain our life from animals. When the animal die, automatically there is an economic loss. So we are affected by extreme heat, seriously. Yeah. Doctor, you talk to me. Doctor, I can't hear you.
Thanks very much. Manso, do you want to continue speaking?
No.
Okay, many thanks. Many thanks, Manso. Thanks very much for your contribution from Sierra Leone. I gave the floor to Nancy Vimana Leona from has asked for the floor. Go ahead,
Yes.
Nancy Vina. Leona.
Thank you very much. It was the problem of our network in our country. I'm coming from Burundi in East Africa. I was saying about the extreme heat in our country. For example, when there is a next extreme heat, it means after it rains. When it rains, there is a flood and so on, the different disasters. And in that case, there is a consequence in a different area. For example, in our country, at Gatumba area, last year there was a flood, a big flood, where people has been displaced to another area. And the second, we have a problem in the north of the country where we have more than 20 million people displaced to other areas because of extreme heat. In our currently, there are many problems of missing how to eat, how to live. Extreme heat cause many problems in different people. For example, so older people and the vulnerable people suffer from the consequence about extreme heat. It becomes to our government to see how to protect our environment. When you said that in the USA and Europe, they plan a budget for extreme for heat. It becomes the new to me to when I release in the different countries in Africa, there is no minister for it. That's why together we can advocacy in that case in order to have different government to have that, for example, that a department for heat because an extreme heat caused many problem in the different area of our continent. It's all what I want to say about extreme heat. For example, in our country, there is big problems about the extreme heat. Thank you.
Oh, thanks very much, Mr. Leonard from Burundi. It is very clear the problem in Burundi also, although I must tell you that it's a very complex problem, extreme heat, because I mentioned to you it's like radiation, it affects everywhere, every person, every animal, every plant, and depends on the intensity. So we need to measure that, and not only the countries, the richest countries such as the United States or Canada or countries in Europe, not all countries in Europe, but certain countries in Europe, they are measuring, the extreme heat very precisely in cities, which every neighborhood in, for instance, in Germany or in France do have meteorological stations to really measure the temperature at local level, because it's not good to have a global city average temperature. You know, we need to know the temperature that we are living at our place. We need to know the temperature that Leonard and his family, or Leonard and his fellow workers, or the children of Leonard that go to school, what temperature they have at school. So we need to measure the temperature in every place where we are. That's we have been expropriated through the centuries the need to know the temperature that we have. Today we need to know the temperature to live in. And I would say that to have or to measure the temperature in our life is much more important than even to have money. But as we have a different reality, as we are thinking in another world, we are looking the world through TikTok, through Twitter, through Facebook. No, we are given a reality which is not that. You know, that's what I insist. And on top of that, if we are exposed, and you mentioned that you have a heat migration in Burundi, in Argentina there is heat migration also, but it's not being registered as heat migration. No, they are migrating because they are poor, or because they are running away from the violence of their cities. No, rubbish. People migrate because they know the heat cannot allow them to have crops, they don't allow to have food, they don't allow to have, you know, any common and a normal life. So heat is a very serious problem, my friend. And if on top of that, you know, because the heat that we're having is not that because Mr. Leonard or Mr. Mexibanda or brother Goffrey from Uganda are producing heat because they are not being sustainable, because they don't, you know, separate the garbage of the you know, of their home, because they use too much electricity. No, you know, extreme heat is being produced by the level of quality of life of these northern rich countries. As I mentioned, usually, my dear friends, please do understand this. If you live in Los Angeles and you live in a house with 10 people of your family, you have a family of 10 people in Los Angeles today, what is happening? You will have 10 cars in the family, one car for each member of the family. Then will also, you have 10 air conditioning system, one air conditioning equipment per room of your house. But also, you know, you have 10 television sets, one per each room. So in Argentina, people of middle class that live together in a home of 10 people, if they have a car, they will have one car, not 10 cars. If we live together in a room, in a house of 10 people, we have only one television set, even one air conditioner equipment. You know what I mean? Extreme heat is being caused by the level of emission of the northern rich countries, not because the South, the global South country, we are not big emitters. Certainly cities are somehow large cities in the global South, such as Buenos Aires or Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, maybe Lagos in Nigeria, maybe Harare in Zimbabwe, maybe Johannesburg in South Africa. These cities are, see, they produce emissions. But the rest of the people not, you know, the rest of the, you know, municipalities are not big emitters. So we cannot talk about today to reduce our emissions of gases that produce, you know, warming change. So, my friends, we need to wake up. We need to understand the situation. I gave the floor to Khadija Saad. The floor is yours, Khadija. We hear you. Hello, Khadija. The floor is yours, please. We hear you. Can you go ahead?
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Hadija Juma from Kenya, and I come from the coastal side of the country, whereby we have the ocean in our side. So to start with it, first of all, I come from an environment organization based in Lamu County, We are majoring on environmental issues, and mostly it's all about advocacy, and we're advocating against fossil fuel projects and also championing for a just climate transition. And just to mention first is that in our region where I come from, the extreme heat waves has really affected Lamu community. And we have different islands in Lamu whereby at some point we witnessed some of the community members migrating from their region to another region in search of food because the heat waves was too high and production was not good at all. So something which has really affected so many villages in Lamu, almost 3 to 4 villages who are bordering Somalia to the north side of Lamu. And another thing which you can say that the heat waves has really affected, in Lamu we have fishing activities as one of the main economic booster. And as a result of heat waves, it has really become hard for the fishing community because right now some fish are going extinct, something which is worrying us at some point and making the economy to drop drastically, making it very barely for common citizen to be able to afford the day-to-day livelihood. So as we are moving forward, also in our organization, what we are doing, since heat waves has really affected us so much, we engage in doing mangrove restoration projects because Lamu County is one of the counties which is which was ranked, which is still being ranked as the second in terms of forest cover. So what we're doing, we are trying so hard since the heat waves is affecting our ocean, is affecting our environment, we are trying on this other hand side to do mangrove restoration projects, and so that the heat waves can go down a little bit to combat this issue of climate change crisis. Another thing I'd like to mention is that other than working on mangrove restoration, we are also trying to create awareness to the communities in Lamu to know the importance of preserving the environment, because once the community is educated, then it becomes so easy. But if the community is not educated, then it becomes a big of an issue because they will not know how to combat some of this issue. And I've also heard about the AI, and I think with the AI, there is some misinformation because with the current generation, the youths, the youth, it's kind of restrained the youths to dig in more to know the real reality of what's happening on the ground. But the artificial intelligence has really made the youths nowadays are saying that the artificial intelligence has made things easier. But I'd like to mention that the AI has really made the youths not to think outside the box. So it's something that really needs to be looked into conversation. Yeah.
Many thanks, Khadija. Very good contribution. I really like very much what you say, and really the comment on migration is very important. You just mentioned migration from your country to Somalia, and certainly the question of fish is very important, given that you are a community that lives near the ocean. I give the floor now to a person who has not the name. I would like you to change the name because Techno Kicks is not a name. Can you introduce yourself, please, with your name? Many thanks, Khadija. Very good presentation. We come back to you soon. Go ahead, Techno K15K. Go ahead, please.
Maxensia.
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead, please.
Unmute.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Hello, who are you? Your name, please.
Tomoyimbi Maxensia.
Maxensia, okay.
From Uganda, East Africa.
Right.
This is my first time to be here. I'm happy about that topic of extreme heat. In Uganda, we have experienced it a lot. Uganda being an agricultural country, we have a problem of extreme heat that is affecting our agriculture, and you find people, they have failed to get what to eat. You find the water resources, they are getting dry, and they make us get the water, they become in access to us, and we develop some diseases. The problem we have here, I myself am in a village, I'm not accessing the network. It is becoming a problem to me and a gadget to use when I'm communicating with you people. I don't know what we are going to do about it. My concern was maybe if we can get maybe the gadgets to use, and maybe I'm a health worker. We try to health educate the villagers or these local people about the extreme heat and how we are going to make the world change. Thank you so much. I think when we get these more meetings, I will learn more about you. I'm glad to be part of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you, Maxencia from Uganda. Very, very clear statement also. Okay. Unless we have any other contributions to know the situation, the local situation, we need to go on to the second part of the meeting, is that precisely what is it we can do. I don't know if anyone wants to make a comment on the local experience. Okay, so I will invite our Director Regional, Mr. Mexibanda, to propose to have a clear indication of the next steps. Can you tell us your view? Sunday will be invited to our regional coordinator, Brother Godfrey from Uganda. Meg, are you at the room? Okay, so I call on the floor to Reverend Godfrey. The floor is yours, Reverend.
Hello.
Hello, Reverend. Are you able to speak? Are you okay?
I'm not yet okay. I'm still weak, but I would like to recommend all the suggestions and all the ideas that have been shared for action to be compiled very well so that we can pick it from there. Since we have discussed the very important issues that we don't need to neglect, and any neglect of each of them, then we shall make a loss. I would like to recommend you that we should have some action points that we should address as people of Africa and the entire world, in the global south and Latin America. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Godfrey. I'm sorry to bother you while you are sick. I hope that you recover soon. It's important to all of us that you're okay, well back into the field. I insist with Mexibanda, if he's around. Meg, are you at the room? Okay, well, I asked Reverend Godfrey if he can mute his microphone so we can continue. So then I will tell you what the situation is. We have down in our part of the world. We have set up a global network of people to deal with extreme heat, particularly the global south. We believe that heat can be confronted with two levels of activities. Number one, with field project, with field activities, in which we need to do is really to do a mix between strengthening the knowledge of people in the way to manage heat at their homes, at their workplace, at their school, in order to really plan responses. We need to know clearly what to do with extreme heat, but not government, not local government, not the mayor of the city, no, the legislator, no, every one of us, individual citizens. Me, I am, part of a family of 6 people. I live with my wife, I live with my 2 children, and with my grandfather and grandmother. We need to know, number one, which is the temperature that we have in our home. In order to do that, we need to measure that temperature. If we know how to measure this temperature at our home, then we are able to produce a heat map, temperature map of our home. So while the big heat is coming, we can distribute our people, the more vulnerable ones, such as the just born baby that was born yesterday, last week. The babies are not prepared to confront extreme heat problems, so we need to give them the best place in the house. If there is an evening, night which is very hot, we give our grandmother who suffers diabetes the best room, a colder room in the house, in order to avoid that she becoming, exposed to heat that will damage her. So the map of the house will allow us to really manage heat in terms of knowing which is the temperature that we have in each one of our rooms. The same with our local neighborhoods, the houses that live in the same area. We need to have a map of the region, of the area, of this neighborhood, taking the temperature, every one of us, because we will know why we cannot expect until the government will put a meteorological station in the next 5 years or in 10 years. We need to act, because we can manage at local level extreme heat. The same at the workplace, the same at the school, which our children are going. So we need to learn that temperature is like money. We know that the government and our business patron can give us more money if we work harder or whatever. But we know at the final point that it depends from us to have the money to live on. With the temperature, the same. The temperature depends from us. It doesn't depend from the local mayor. It depends from us. We need to know locally which is the temperature that we are living at. So that is what I say is the same as money. As we know how much money we have today to spend money today, we need to know with the temperature that we have today in order to prevent problems. So we do that at local level. We train people to manage extreme heat at their homes, at their school, at their workplace, at their neighborhoods. And at the same time, we do advocacy with this community. So we do this for you, but you also need to move in order to change government thinking. Because as been said to you, that we need to have in every municipality a local director for heat. We need to have a local responsible of heat in order to help the community. Because heat, we need some time of global investments that we need to put in place. These global investments in Africa are to have trees, to have vegetation, because this is a type of cooling practices that have been used in the northern part of the world. We also need to protect our river. We need to really very protect it, because the river in cities, in our towns, are cooling, do have cooling impact. And we then to use cheap cooling system in our rooms, in our homes, in our workplaces, in our schools. Air conditioning is not the solution. Maybe the solution for today, but also, the air conditioning system that are being commercialized today also contaminate the environment and produce more extreme heat in the world. So we need to have different technologies approaches. So this is a local activity. But then we need to go at global activities because, this question of extreme heat was announced to the world in 2015 with the Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement established, you remember, an agreement through which, the UN, United Nations, advised to all governments of the world to prepare for the incoming times of extreme heat. And it was decided in the Paris Agreement that every government of the world will have plans to control extreme heat at their countries, at local levels. And they should establish laws and regulations. They should train government officers to deal with heat. Because heat was the most important problem that the world will suffer in terms of climate change. But countries of the Global South, governments of the Global South didn't do much. Because today, for instance, we don't know the number of people being killed by every heat wave in our city. My friends, my brothers from Africa, tell me which country of Africa, which municipality of Africa is measuring the number of deaths due to extreme heat. I asked you many times, several times today, doctors are at the meeting now from Africa. Is any municipality of Africa measuring the number of people killed by extreme heat? I'm sure no. So, almost 10 years ago, the Paris Agreement advised every government of the world to take care of heat. No one did anything. So, the United Nations did nothing also. So, we need to change global governance. We need to change the way in which the United Nations is treating the problem. It wasn't enough with the resolution of the Paris Agreement because countries of the world were not interested in resolving the problem. So then we need to go as civil society, as NGO organizations, to call for a different presence of our experiences at the United Nations meeting. So we are preparing for that. We are working at global level with our network in order to have a real voice of the grass communities from Africa, from America, from Asia, from Europe, to change the way in which the United Nations resolutions come down to our countries. We need to reassure these resolutions are being implemented because our experience after the Paris Agreement shows that our national governments are not interested to do what the global resolutions have been taking or are indicating. So these two levels of action at local level and action at global level. I will open the floor, my dear brothers from Africa, to know what you think about that, and I will invite anyone that want to make a comment on these action proposals at local level and action proposals at global level. I open the floor to discuss this. Please, I wait for your comments. Go ahead.
Okay.
Reverend Khadija, go ahead. Welcome. You take the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to mention you just mentioned about the government thinking that we need to change how the government is thinking. So if I take with my example back from where I come from in Kenya, in coastal side of the country, that is Lamu County, The government is proposing to have a coal power plant project that is a fossil fuel project, and we have been trying to engage the local government not to accept this project because from the perspective, Lamu is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the title was granted to us since 2003. So we are really trying so hard to convince the government that to not to have this project, because even at some point the UNESCO World Heritage Site was threatening to delist Lamu County from the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So I think what we need to do as an action, even though in most cases the government seems not to take seriously what the residents, what the community is saying, but what we have done on our side, we have tried to reach out to them in face-to-face. We have tried to write letters to them. We even tried to create a good rapport with them so that at least our visions and missions can be accomplished. But that one has never worked because in most cases you'll find that government officials, they might be supporting what the communities are doing, but they don't want to come out in public to show that we are with you. But at the back of the curtain, they'll show you that they are together with you. And bottom of it all, it's fear. We really don't understand what they're fearing, but there is a saying that we believe that the voices of the communities matters a lot. So the actions that from us, I think we should do more advocacy work to create awareness to the communities, because if we have so many voices from the communities to us, the CSOs, then reaching our goal will be very much easier. Then on the global platform, I think one of the things that we need to do, we need to make it clear for the world to know that they're proposing this thing, and we are not we are against what they want to impose to us, and we give reasons. And some of the reasons that we're giving is, for example, where I'm coming from, we have the sea, so some fish are going extinct because of the heat waves that is currently ongoing. Again, we have agricultural activities are being affected, and that means food security will go down. And what happens if food security goes down? That automatically the health of the people will be at risk. Right, like right now in Lamu, we have so many people whose health has gone down because they couldn't get food. The production went down. They were even forced to take wild fruits, and which is not good for their health. So the health went deteriorated. So lastly, as I conclude, as we are taking action, we'd like also to collaborate with in our country with different CSOs, and also outside Kenya, which means we have to collaborate in different parts of the region. For example, we have Zambia, we have South Africa, we have Kenya, we have everywhere. All of us come up with one message, that we want the world to be a fossil-free world. We also want the world to go in a renewable energy way, a more sustainable way that will give humans peace of mind, and will give humans the right things to do, like doing away with the heat waves that is affecting us currently, and also fighting climate change, because it is something that has been affecting almost everyone for the longest time possible. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Khadija. Does anyone take the floor at this stage? Can anyone take the floor? Okay.
Hello.
Raymond, go ahead, please. You ask for the floor. We hear you.
I really want to appreciate Dr. Carlos and my colleague for this venture that Dr. Carlos have started. It's not really easy for West Africa, especially Sierra Leone. Things are very hard since this climate extreme heat is disturbing our people in Sierra Leone here. The action plan that you are deciding to take for the UN, I hope that is a good startup. I think that will help us starting doing something to give awareness to our people in Sierra Leone, for them to know exactly about extreme heats. Although extreme heat is really killing our people, animals, and even disturbing the plants. So I think it is necessary for us to take an action immediately to implement an action for our people, for them to prevent from this extreme heat, sir.
Okay. Thanks very much, my dear Raymond. I just want to know in terms of, because it's something that we need to be very objective in terms of what to do, because I know that there are large and global campaigns being established, as our friend from Kenya was telling us. This question of the fossil fuels global campaign, and the campaign against poverty, and the campaign against war. But war's still on, poverty is still on, and fossil fuel is still on. If we look what the United States say, Mr. Trump say, no, but forget about this question. We are going to use more and more and petrol, more and more gas, more and more coke. So there's an understanding. I don't want to lose any time on talking, to waste time, say if it's good or not to do that campaign. What we want to do is what we can do about ourselves as communities that are experiencing extreme heat globally. And that's the reason of our meeting. As Raymond says, the suffering is tremendous. The suffering that we know is tremendous, but there is a larger suffering that we don't know. I mentioned to you, and there are many doctors at the meeting now, that extreme heat is like nuclear radiation. It's like radiation. It's like big bomb that is affecting every one of us. Those are very close to it are the most affected, but those are far away affecting, exposed to, also affected. So extreme heat is a global problem, and we need to think that it's affecting us, the local community, the grassroots community, the poorest community of the world that have been affected by extreme. We need to know what we need to know about ourselves. And I say my proposal is to have this plan of action that include two big streams. Number one, the local activity, which is to help empower citizens to know how to manage heat at their daily life. Not advocacy, is to help Raymond, to help Raul, to help Gertrude, to manage heat at their homes every day. And if they know how to manage heat at everyday life in their homes, they will know how to manage heat at their work every day. And they will help schools to manage extreme heat every day. So this is that we need to do ourselves, to be trained to confront heat at our home, at our neighborhood, at our work, at our schools. And also do advocacy. Advocacy, that means you need to change your thinking, you need to think better in your life, to protect your life, to make prevention. You need to know what to ask from the local government, from the municipality, what we need to request from them to do. We need to know what the governments need to do. That is advocacy. But if we don't train people, we don't give the skills of people of confronting heat at their local level, will be advocacy. That is what we have been doing so far for the last 10, 20, 30 years, advocacy. We need to help people to train on controlling heat at our lives. That is number one activity. Number two activity is to work at global level. I would like our friend from Kenya, from Burundi, from Sierra Leone that you have been here, to go to speak at the conference of part of climate change that is taking place in Brazil next November, to tell these people that are in charge of the United Nations that lives all day with air conditioning because they work in offices that have air conditioning. They go to their homes in cars that they have air conditioning, and they live at their home with air conditioning. They send their children to school that have air conditioning. They have sent their wife to do shopping in shopping malls that have air conditioning. So they don't know the life of people in the global south. They don't know how Raymond lives at their home. They don't know how Carlos lives in Cordoba in Argentina at their home. So we need to be at this global level in order to displace the people that is there telling that they represent us, such as the large NGOs that talks about stopping fossil fuels. We need to stop fossil fuels because, you know, we are living a global extreme heat epidemic. But no one telling that if the people of Sierra Leone, if the people of Kenya, if the people of South Africa stop using from one day to the other fossil fuel, they don't use anymore their cars, they can go to work with their buses because they use petrol and petrol is not available because we need to be clean. These actions will only impact on extreme heat in 30 years. Not now, in 30 years. So what we ain't doing that? What advantages we have to control extreme heat in that way? So we need to be very clear about that. We need to bring the suffering of extreme heat to people at the United Nations, to government offices, bureaucrats from the UN, to the national government representatives that are at this conference, and to the reference of NGOs that talks on behalf, supposedly on behalf of us, that they are wrong, that we need to talk about how to control heat in our life. And if on top of that, we accept that Europe, North America puts walls on migration, that people, the same people that is migrating, they want to run away from extreme heat, from wars and poverty, cannot enter to their countries because they know that they have a cooling life experience, then we are accepting something which is ludicrous. And then if we end up accepting that our children, our youth, all of them are trapped by a mobile phone, looking, understanding, chatting, conversating of a different reality that is not our experience of extreme heat, we are in a very complex way. We need to resolve those problems at global level, discussing as communities with the bureaucrats of the UN, with the bureaucrats of our national government, with the bureaucrats of our NGOs, that you are wrong, my friend. We need to act now against extreme heat. This is the time. Not in 30 years when half of our population in the global south have died as a consequence of extreme heat. Because extreme heat is the same consequence that the pandemics. COVID was replaced by extreme heat. We need to do something, my friends, and this is something that we need to act at local level and at global level. Raymond, what do you think about this? What is your experience? What do you think about our proposals from Sierra Leone?
Thank you very much again for the question, Dr. Carlos. Like for the local area that you are talking about, how to manage extreme heat, like for our own local way in Sierra Leone here, unless we do tree planting around our building, meaning around our houses, you know, in the next hour, we have something like wire mesh. At night, we open our windows, but we still do not get ventilation at night, right? So unless when we have tree. So when the tree is around our building, I think that will much better. That will help us to reduce extreme heat. You know, like this moment when we are in our office here, and there is tree around the office, so we get ventilation through those trees. So for our local level, I think it's necessary for us to do tree planting that will able help us to reduce extreme heat.
Right, Raymond. I hear you very well. I just want to open the floor to proposals from, the ground. If this plan that I'm proposing you is, in place with your experiences, we go ahead. But if the proposals are not clearly adopted, we can be we need to take more time to discuss it more thoroughly and to understand how we can reach agreement. That's why I asked Mexi Banda to participate, but he has not been on the room. Meg, have you returned to the room? Are you now at the room to discuss these problems?
Yes, okay, Doctor, let me say I have some connection challenge, but let me say then I'll chip in.
Go ahead, please. I can put you update you, Meg. We are talking the approach of confronting extreme heat using this local strengthening of communities to manage local extreme heat, and also doing advocacy, and at global level to take our case, to tell our experience with extreme heat at the global meetings of the United Nations, to tell these people telling us to confront extreme heat, stop using extreme fossil fuel, petrol and other energy system. That okay, we do that, but we need to do urgently other things. We need to change global governance. What is your thinking about this two-ways approach?
Okay, yes, Doctor, thank you for that. I'll maybe start first to talk about fossil fuels. I think the global village is actually trying its best to address or to stop the fossil fuel ambitious, so to say, billionaires. But I think this is a long way to freedom, because who is behind that? Actually, it is the elite. It is also the same governments that are actually part of the ratification of the same instruments, for example, the Paris Agreement. So I think the question of fossil fuel, yes, is something that has to be addressed, but it's not a now question. So as we embark on this journey, I'm thinking that the best approach will be to do what is relevant now, especially looking at the issue of extreme heat. I think it's a two-sided buttered bread, from my experience. But what is actually a point to note is that working with the grassroots, I think we need to revise our advocacy strategies, which can speak to uplifting the voices of the grassroots. For example, as we are planning to also bring the issue of Belim, where we are trying to bring on board the civil society and the different stakeholders, I think the key issue is capacity development. So the grassroots needs some capacity development in form of collective approach. I think for now, that's what I would say. Yes, the idea of civil society strengthening is good, but we need to find a balance, especially on how to reach the most vulnerable and take them on board. So thank you, Dr. Carlos. Over to you.
I hope, okay, Meg, thanks very I hope that your network problems get resolved, my dear friend, because you are the director for international relations. You need to be present in this. It's very important that you follow the debate because I think that we need to be very clear. We cannot, be somehow not very clear about what we need to do because the people are now suffering. Local people are having many problems at local level, my dear Meg friend. I think that if I invest all my time to discuss and I put money, I put effort to stop fossil fuels emissions, that of course will have effects in a number of years from now. But if you have not programs, immediate programs to control the damage of extreme heat, the only countries that will really be somehow profiting from that global south sacrifice not to use any more fossil fuel will be the northern country because extreme heat will be present globally. But as the northern countries do have heat programs, as we don't have, even, if we stop fossil fuels suffering socially and economically, we're still having problems. So we need to be as clear as Mr. Trump is. Mr. Trump say, I don't give a damn. I will be still using fossil fuels because development of the United States depends from the fossil fuels. We need to do the same. In the global south, the cities, global civil society should say, well, I don't give a damn what you say. We are not going to work on stopping fossil fuels. We are going to really protect ourselves from heat. We need to be very careful about how we talk to our people. If we're going to give them, our people, mixed messages, this problem of extreme heat only we can resolve stopping fossil fuels. It's not a lie, but it's almost a lie. Because stopping fossil fuels today will not change the situation in our countries. The Argentina government, for instance, not now, but in the last government, although we are not big emitters, we are not contaminated. We don't put gases from global warming to environment compared to the United Nations, to the United States. The fossil fuel emissions are responsible from two countries, the United States and China. Between the two of them, they produce extreme heat global problem because almost 85% of the emission come from their level of development. The rest of the country, 196 countries, cannot be responsible for the 20% of emission that is not counted by the statistics. So we need to be very clear about this question because we cannot mix people. The message of sustainability is a real message, but we need to be very concrete. We are talking about sustainability of life. We need our life to be sustainable. We don't want our elderly people dying in global south. We don't want our babies in the global south to be dying. We don't want our chronic ill citizens dying because of extreme heat. We need to be very clear. And I insist in doctors from this meeting speak up. I would like to hear the voice of doctors, the voice of physicians on this meeting, because this is very important to know what is going with extreme heat. Yes, Mr. Leonard, we hear you. Go ahead, please. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Carlos. On my behalf, I would like to add that what we can do now is to protect our environment, for example, to plant trees, and also practice trainings to our people as we are leaders in our proper countries. And also we can plan an advocacy in order to influence our government to integrate in their program different activities against heat. For example, to plant those trees, as I said. And so at the end, to stop fossil emission, because if we don't be care now, in 5 or 4 years, we will see we will assist on many disasters. As in our country, we are in Burundi, for example, is one of the 20 countries in which we assist every year different natural disasters. Thank you.
Thank you, dear friend Leonard. I want to know the view of, but I see that Dr. Bonifaci is still on the meeting from Zimbabwe. I would like to invite him to make a comment on these questions of, the impact of extreme heat locally as a doctor, and also to know about his thinking, which is the priority, because we are talking about a question of priority. No one is saying that we need not to act on fossil fuels. We're saying that we need to act on extreme heat, which is our need, our importance in the global south. Dr. Boniface, you want to join us, the floor?
Carlos, thank you very
Yes.
much for inviting me to make a comment. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
I think it's a given that on the medical side, extreme heat is a problem to both humans as well as animals. It is also a problem to the environment in terms of the plants and the environment that both animals and humans rely on. There are a lot of policy shifts that are beginning to happen. This part of the global south. The first one is that a lot of push is now being put at policy level by governments to try and increase the contribution of renewable energy into the whole mix, so that people move away from fossil fuel, which is causing a significant contribution to the problem of overheating of the environment. My country in particular started trying to find out if we cannot use nuclear energy to try and power the provision of electricity to the whole country. The challenge that I am seeing is that we are moving at a snail's pace, not so much because there's no political will, but because it's very expensive for a country, let alone an individual, to move away from fossil fuel to a more environmentally friendly source of energy, so that we mitigate the effects of climate change. So the governments are moving at a snail's pace, not because they don't understand the impact of continuing to use fossil fuel, but because they don't have the funding. And it's unfortunate that there's policy inconsistencies at global level, where on the one hand, the industrialized countries are told to fund some of these initiatives. And then when a president changes, like what happened in the United States, they pull out the plug. They are no longer supporting all the initiatives that they said they are going to help the global south to try and move away from fossil fuel. So it's a struggle, because it's not easy to move away from fossil fuel. If you look at Europe, I don't think they have even gone beyond 15% in terms of being able to use renewable energy and move away from fossil fuel. The effects on human beings and animals, I think we see them every day. The statistics are available and they are quite significant. They are not just limited to the traditional hot spots like we have along the Zambezi, along the Limpopo, or along the shores of Mozambique, South Africa, along the shores of East Africa and so on. We are also seeing places that were originally said to be okay, experiencing extreme heat. And so the statistics on the effect of animals on human beings, as well as the climate, environmental damage is there. But where do we get the funding? That's the dilemma. How do we even fund mitigating factors? It's a bit of a challenge. That's my contribution.
Many thanks, Doctor, for your presentation. Boniface, I would like to ask you in Zimbabwe, do you have statistics on mortality rates due to extreme heat exposition?
Our Minister of Health has got a department which looks at tallying, reporting and recording of diseases, not only communicable, but even non-communicable, including this heat wave. Unfortunately, the recording and reporting system does not fully cover the picture. It's unfortunate that even if you go to the ministry, yes, you will get the statistics, but to me, it's an understatement. We are not reporting all the possible statistics as far as it relates to heat-related effects on human beings. I'm not sure whether we'll get the statistics on the animal side. I don't know. That's my response.
But I mean, you say, I'm trying to understand this because I mentioned earlier on that, for instance, in Argentina or in Chile or in Peru or in Colombia, the number of people dying because extreme heat is zero. There's no people dying, and therefore that's one of the main problems by which media don't take seriously any analysis of extreme heat. Then I ask you if Zimbabwe, statistics from Zimbabwe do register any death due to extreme heat. That is the question.
I'm not privy to the actual figures, but I don't expect the figures to be zero, because what I know is that we have early warning systems for the past couple of years. Extreme heat has been coming, and we have been warning people to avoid going outdoors during the day because of extreme heat weather. I'm inclined to think that it's not zero, but it's there, and it's significant enough for us to warrant is doing something about it.
Yeah. No, I agree. The same happen here because people, the Minister of Health say, oh, extreme heat is coming. There is alert warning of heat waves, Don't go drink a lot of water, stay at home, don't go out. But really, when we talk about extreme heat deaths, because he was playing football and he was struck, by extreme heat, or he was a peasant at work. But there, those are not the deaths that we are talking about. We are talking about that precisely. People is dying at their homes due to extreme heat, and they are put another label. He died because cardiac arrest. He died because he had cancer. he died because he had, depression. These are, something that it is being established in terms of global nomenclature on mortality. The International Classification of Disease 11 established 30 codes to establish death due to extreme heat. And that's why the statistics from China, the United States, Canada, Germany, Britain, France, Spain do have statistics on the number of people dying due to extreme heat. Moreover, in Spain, country in which I live, there is a statistic system which is called MOMO, M-O-M-O, that measures the killing or the death per hour during extreme heat. Because the problem is so serious, as I mentioned, an extreme heat, a heat wave of 3 days with temperatures over 30 degrees Celsius that, takes 3 days, will kill in Madrid, every heat wave, an average of 1,500 people. That means a measure of per 100,000 of people exposed to temperatures above 30 degrees centigrade on a heat wave of 3 days will die 90 people. My question is that, we need to understand that extreme heat is not being measured by our countries to the global south. So if we don't measure death, no one will take seriously our works, our position. So then we prefer to talk about fossil fuels and not talking about the real problem that we have in the global south. Khadija asked for the floor. The floor is yours, Khadija. We listen to you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much once again. I think also what we should do at the grassroots level, or rather at the community level, we should also have our own data to show how our people are suffering from our communities and maybe even dying because due to the heat waves, people are unable to do agricultural activities, and it's really affecting women in terms of infertility problems in women because they're not getting healthy foods, and also makes miscarriages for women as well because if they don't get food, yeah, if they don't get food, they'll be forced to take wild fruits, and wild fruits, most of them are poisonous. So it's something that will really affect us big time. So if we use that approach, then I think we will have taken our demands, or rather our action points, to the United Nations talks. So having those 2 points, I think it's very important, and not forgetting even children, because we have women who are going through infertility problems and also miscarriages, but we also have infants who are still breastfeeding. So it becomes a bit of an issue, because not even a bit, it becomes a big issue because those kids need to breastfeed. And if they're breastfeeding from a mother who is not having healthy food, then it's going to affect their health as well. And also, I think, again, when addressing the issues of heat waves, I think those people will be like, you have to protect yourself, you have to cool yourself down, you have to use AC. But we are addressing issues from communities who are living in poverty. So how do you tell people to protect themselves from heat? Yet they don't have AC, the air conditioner, they don't have electricity. How do they cool themselves down? So those are some of the issues, getting all the data right and addressing them to those international platforms. Thank you.
Many thanks, Khadija. I would like to be in touch with you. Then you send me through the chat your email, please, and contact number, because you putting out some important point. Yes, in our local approach, this two-stream approach, local activities, local action, local level, and global activities with the, global governance system for communities. one of the important things that we have is that getting data from communities. We have an experience here in the Latin American countries to do the termometrada, which is a community action by which, using very economic thermometers, we made a temperature map, a map of temperatures with our local neighborhood. So we know which are the hottest place in our neighborhood. And with that data, we prepare people locally to manage temperature. But if we don't help people to understand how they should manage their own temperature at their homes, at their schools, at their workplace, we will not progress. We will not be able to convince government to do much about it. So, Khadija, I would be very interested to talk with you, because given that the place where you're working, it would be very interesting to cooperate with you. Mr. Eunice Njuk, please, the floor is yours from Kenya. Eunice, we hear you.
Hi everyone. So sorry that I couldn't contribute. I was transiting from somewhere to at least to a quieter place. So I've been following up the conversation since we started, and I think I'm in a good position to now at least also give my own contributions. My name is Eunice Onjangwe from Kenya. I come from an arid and semi-arid area where I've been involving myself into different initiatives and projects to my community. I'm a journalist by profession and on alignment on environmental conservation. One thing that I've been doing personally, is to work with the community in terms of regenerative agriculture and environmental conservation, and as well championing for the organic farming. One thing that I would really wish to put across is when we say plant trees, I usually don't go with that. I usually say we grow trees. Why? Because when we plant trees, you can't go back again, and you can't testify on how many trees are you planting or which ones will you survive. But growing them, it means that you're taking care of them and ensuring that everything is on board. So through the extreme heat, for me, I can recommend that growing trees around ourselves, like practicing other crops. Like for us, when it's very dry, we usually use alternatives of the resistant crops that can really work in the dry areas. And also in terms of water, our place is very dry. So for the water, we've been trying to work with the other organizations to have a water boreholes, and also to have reservations like the dams and all that. Yeah. On my journalistic work, I've been doing articles on climate adaptation mitigation, environmental conservation, and also through heat waves. I feel like I can really bring on board by ensuring my advocacy work through writing can really work very well by ensuring that the whole world needs to know more about the extreme heat and what are we going to champion for. Thank you.
Many thanks, Eunice from Kenya. Very interesting experiences you, as a journalist, has pointed out, and I think it will be very important that you are part of our network in Africa. That will be very, very important. Your contribution, not only from the point of view of local communities, but also for what I believe your experience as a journalist. Okay, I think that I would like to just rounding up the meeting for a little while. I just will remember you that all these conversation that we are having are public, and anyone can follow it through YouTube, because we have our own channel, which is called Clima TV International. You enter in YouTube and you have all coverage of these activities. I come back to Mexico, and Meg, are you with us? Can you hear us? Are you still having network problems? Well, I cannot see Meg in the room. Then I will call on Mrs. Robin from South Africa. Robin, are you with us? Can you hear us? She is our chair in the Committee of Women. I would like you to make some comments if you are able, please. Thanks very much.
Oh, hello everyone again. Thank you, Doc. This has been such a beautiful meeting of minds and different people putting out absolutely beautiful things that I've heard today. One of the things, Doctor, that I got from here is when we're talking about the fossil fuels and how the governments are not listening, taking into consideration the 2015 Paris Agreement. And I was thinking, how about when governments are not listening, what is our stance on using or on getting media coverage about what we are trying to do in terms of taking out the information that we want to do, that we want the people to know? And then challenges for me in being prepared. You were talking about how we should know about temperatures where we are, right? So if you want to know about temperatures where you are, I believe you have to have thermometers and all. And we are talking about people that really have nothing. So now I'm basically putting everything together. So if you are talking about people that you want to reach that have nothing, but you want to inform them about this and what they can, how they can help themselves, in that way, you need thermometers in all the rooms or however. Where would they get these thermometers? Are we going to, because I think you're running away from us maybe working hand in hand with the government or forcing the government to actually listen to the Paris Agreement and taking it hands-on, especially for the Southern African region, or rather for Africa, for that matter. Because Africa is, you know, they always say that it's hot in Africa. So what is so special about this climate change, you know, that we should, I mean, we grew up and it was hot. But now, if you want to give me a thermometer, where will I get it for all the rooms that I have, or for all the whatever spaces that you want, especially in each and everyone's home? How are we going to be able to give them that? So those are some of the solutions that we can look into that should be sustainable, instead of just, you know, just talking and talking and talking and not actually getting something that we know will bring our people things that will help us. And then can we use the phones in AI? I think most of the people that were talking as well, they were talking about how AI is coming, how AI is playing such a major role in shaping or in shaping how people think or how they are not thinking anymore. But can we use AI as well, the phones, if possible? So it's just something that I'm throwing to the group. If possible, you know, the push notifications that come through the phones, the push notifications that sometimes when you are sitting, something just pops up of your phone to say flash floods. So that I've seen that happening in South Africa. It happens. In the US, I've seen it happening. Even here in the UK, it does happen. But I do not know if all the other countries of Africa, something like that happens, you know, so that if it doesn't, those are some of the things maybe that we can just go back on and see if we can leverage and speak to the cell phone operators so that they can help us to do these push messages as well. That's part of information dissemination to each and everyone, to grassroots level, anybody with a cell phone. So that's where AI can come in and help us as well in the fight against extreme heat. So those are but some of a few things that I'm taking away from this meeting, having learned so much from it. Thank you, Dr. Carlos.
Thank you very much, Robin, for your comment. I see that Meg Shivanda is in the meeting. Meg, can you come please on with some comments and what the level of discussion that we're having? Okay, let us do the thing. You know, I trust very much that Meg was going to be in the meeting with us, but unfortunately, this is the third time that I called him, but it doesn't seem that he is following the meeting. I will, if you agree, I would like you to vote with raising your hands. If we agree to have a second network meeting for Africa, I will propose that we have a meeting next Tuesday, just to stop talking, just to adopt a plan of action. If you agree, please, can you raise your hand so I can see your position? If anyone wants to say something, no problem. We open the floor before the vote takes place, or is the time to take the vote and so we can continue our activity? Does anyone to say anything? Take the floor now, please, before we pass on the vote. Is anyone want to say something? Just please open your microphone and establish the view. Does anyone to take the floor? Okay, let us vote, please. Yes.
Yeah, I actually rose my hand to vote, but I would also like to add just one thing on what Robin said about using social media as an advocacy tool in terms of highlighting what we are doing so that our message can reach the wider audience. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Many thanks, Khadija, Eunice. And just we are voting to have a meeting next Tuesday. I will give you the date. Tuesday, the 29th of April. Tuesday, the 29th of April, at this same time, let us put it 3 p.m. Zimbabwe time. If that is okay with you, 3 p.m. Zimbabwe time is a right time for me. Next Tuesday, 29th of April. Can you raise your hand, please? I will send you, all of you, the agenda of work so we can go to work things properly and directly with these two approaches, you know, local approach and global approach. Can you raise your hands, please? I know that I would like Robin to place your hand, also Mr. Manso. Please do raise hands to know that we agree with the vote, please.
It is raised. You know. It is raised. I can't find my hand anymore, but it's raised.
Okay. All right. So I see there is a majority. So I will send you also a summary of the discussion we have today. And so we have clear, we are trying to get that information for you within the next 24 hours. But please do reach us with your email to our email address. Our email address is, I will write to you immediately in a message, is info at nosotros los pueblos .org. Sorry about that. Info. I send you the mail so you can write, giving us your address so we can send you the proposal.
What about for us who have, you have already have the email?
Wait a minute, please. Okay, I have sent you through the chat I'm sorry, I don't know why. Well, okay. If you can write, if you just wait a minute, I have some problem here. Usually we have some problem here, technical problem, because I want to send the message to all of you, and I'm not available. I'm not able to send you the message. It looks at the chat is not working very well. Well, I'm sorry. Well, we try to get in touch with all of you. Don't worry. You talk to your coordinators global, locally there in order to get the mail. But we have the meeting on Tuesday, the 29th, next to the 29th at 3 p.m. Zimbabwe time. Yes, sir, you wanted to make a comment. There was some person that wanted to make a comment. Robin, you saw any person making a comment? Because it was a male voice saying something. I didn't understand what he says.
No, I think he was asking about if they don't have emails or something like that. I think it was about
Yes.
that because you were just talking about that. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know who it was actually who asked, but I heard
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, Khadija, you want to say any comment? Khadija, you need to make a comment?
No, actually, I was just in support on the next meeting that will be held on April 29th. So we're looking forward for a productive event.
Okay, I insist that, I haven't been able to send you, a message with our I want to send you a message through the chat with the information on the our mail, but I'm not able to do. Our mail is info@nosotroslospueblos.org. We will be waiting for your communication, but we meet on next Tuesday, 29th of April at 3 p.m. Zimbabwe time. Many thanks to you. You can see this conversation in Clima TV at YouTube. Raúl, no sé si quieres decir algo al respecto.
Dr. Carlos.
Okay. Yes, Robin.
I think, is it possible for you, because I don't think a lot of us will know how to spell that email thing the way that you say it, because I guess it's in Spanish. Is it possible for you to just write it on a piece of paper and then just put it on your screen, and then we can write it from there?
Excellent. I didn't realize that would be a solution. You are very... I will do that. Just wait a second. So every one of you... Okay, I will put that in the screen in order that you can see.
Yeah. There we go. Take it back a bit. That's it. .org. Okay, got it.
Info@ nosotroslospueblos.org.
NOSTROS.
You got it?
Yes.
Perfect.
NOSOTROS, nosotros.
Okay, put it up again, Doc.
Once more, Doc. No, so info. You need to put info. Info nosotros. No? That's all.
Okay, and sí. Perfecto. Les quiero decir, usted, you can look for the, the recording of this activity. I'm not able to get the proper, so you can read, you see how we can, there, Clima TV, YouTube, you have the address there also. You can see that and you can get the email address from there. Clima TV in YouTube. All right?
No,
Thank you, you got it.
YouTube.
Okay.
Very much.
Well, many thanks. So we meet next Tuesday, 29th at 10 o'clock at this time. Many thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The same,
Thank you.
with the same link, okay? The same link.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, thank
bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye. Thanks very much.
Wish all the best.
Recording stopped.